Hey guys, I'm Reagan Kathryn and this is OB and welcome to another video about cosplay crafting. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made Venti Lyre from Genshin Impact for the voice actress of Venti, Erika Harlacher. Really quick, before I get started, please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you like cosplay, crafting, anime, webtoons, dogs. I make a ton of fun videos and costumes and would really love to share my work with you. But without further ado, let's get crafting. Venti travels all around Teyvat as a bard. He spends most of his mora on alcohol, so he has to play his lyre in exchange for goods, his favorite being apples. So today we're going to start by making his lyre. Erika, please send me apples to my house in exchange. To start, I drew a relative shape of what the lyre would be on paper, taking into consideration how large my casted pieces were on the front. I just sketched things out on brown paper until I'm satisfied with how it looks. Then I cut out my pattern and started to trace it onto film. I used 5 layers of 4mm foam on the base of Venti's lyre. So I just had to cut out all of the different pieces of foam and glue them together. Then I cut out the bottom and the top out of 6mm foam. My friends like to tease me that I couldn't cut anything out straight, and they're not wrong. None of my base pieces matched up, but that's okay because you can just sand it down. I used my Dremel to sand the edges until everything was all flat and smooth. For some of the straight parts, like the bottom, I used my belt sander to make sure everything was aligned. Then I used barge to glue the trim around the top and the bottom to the base. Venti is the Animo Archeon, but started off as a wind spirit who met a boy who wanted to see a bird. But then the boy was killed in the same war that transformed Venti into the Animo Archeon. So Venti wanted to hold a lyre much like the boy, and he also took the appearance of him. So his lyre is as magical as him with its glowing strings. I decided it was going to be best to paint the strings blue and glowy-like, so I used wooden dowel rods. I just took my Dremel and drilled little holes, then barge glued the dowel rods in. After that, it was time to get the outsides even smoother. Using wood filler, I spread it down the entire side of the lyre, then let it dry and sanded it out. I filled in all of the seams so that they were pretty. Then I used an automotive filler primer, sanded again, and then Plastidip. I also used brown spray paint as a base color for the lyre. I wanted the lyre to have the same magical kind of wood grain look, so I used a few different shades of gold and copper and painted it on with brush strokes. Before I attached all the pieces on, I wanted to make the resin cast gem a little bit more sparkly. So I glued crinkled cellophane and tinfoil to the back using super glue. This helped the gem pop and really gave it some pretty depth. The front pieces were all resin cast by Dangerous Ladies, and I used barge again to glue them onto the lyre. Normally I would suggest gluing everything together before painting, but since the resin cast pieces were already the correct color, I waited until after. This just means that you need to trace the pattern on and be extra careful with the glue, because it will eat your paint anywhere you place it. After the resin was glued on, I drew Venti's design on the lyre using a few different Sharpies and paint colors. I wanted it to feel very organic looking, but you can also be more precise with the template if you want. Then I painted the strings blue and shaded and highlighted everything. After that, it was all ready for the Genshin Impact shoot.